listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest today is like a two-legged chameleon, only she's much better looking and definitely much more talented, with apologies to all the chameleons listening right now. She's an actress who pops up on many hit TV shows. She has that amazing range from being the very dramatic to the zany. And you might find yourself saying, I know her. But to her 3 rescued pets at home, she needs no introduction. After all, she ranks numero uno in their lives and their hearts. Please give pause and applause to the multi-talented actress, Sally Brooks. Welcome to the show, Sally.
Thank you, Arden. That was so lovely. Thanks.
Thank you. I've been practicing so hard. I wanted to impress you. You know, we're going to discover the newest role Sally landed and much more after we pay for the show by taking a commercial break. So, everybody, you know the rules. Sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest today is actress Sally Brooks. Now, when she isn't on the new hit NBC show Outsourced, or taking on guest roles on such, I call them, must-see shows as The Mentalist, Desperate Housewives, and Cold Case, Sally is using her star power as a volunteer for a group called Tiny Loving Canines. It's a rescue group in the Simi Valley in California. And she also likes hanging out with her 3 rescued pets. I love the names. Maud, without the E, Gray, with an E, and Charlotte.
Right.
So, did I get it right?
You did.
All right. So you are on Oh Behave on Pet Life Radio, but you don't have to behave. That's the beauty of the show, Sally. So I wanted to just get a little bit of background from you because you seemed, I went on your website and you've got a lot of looks. Do you think that's a blessing as an actress to be able to kind of blend in and look different ways so no one's hounding?
I think it can be. I think it works both ways. I think sometimes it works for you and sometimes it works against you. I think as much as actresses think, oh, I don't want to be typecast, I think in a certain sense it's not a bad thing to be typecast because when they're looking for whatever it is they're looking for and they know, oh, that certain list of actresses do that, you sort of always fall on those lists. And when you're not typecast, even though it gives you, more variety and people fight against it, I think sometimes you can slip between the cracks. So you sort of want to have a balance of both, I think.
I'm just wondering, if you and Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts were all kind of at the Starbucks, I guess they would have to do more disguise, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
It'd be close, though, right?
Really close.
Yeah, I'm sure, you probably have coffee with them all the time, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, every day.
But I did do a little noodling around, and I did find out that you are good buds with Kate Walsh, who's on Grey's Anatomy, right?
Yes.
Okay, unless you guys have just become no more best friends and I just messed up this whole show. I hope not.
No.
But what I was laughing about is she has dogs, is this true, named Lou Diamond Phillips and Rosie Perez?
Yeah, those are their nicknames. It's Lucy and Rosie, but she calls them Lou Diamond Phillips and Rosie Perez, yeah.
Okay, so you could get a whole batch of new pets, and you could be doing Julia Roberts and Meryl Streep and write that?
That's true.
I mean, I had a calico cat named Callie. That wasn't very creative, but
I think I think we all had a calico cat when we were kids, right?
Yeah, I think that there's something about them. But in speaking with your dogs and cats, I mean, you have one dog and two cats, I understand. Isn't it kind of tough? You're doing a lot of jobs. You're an actress in many roles. I mean, what's the benefit you have when you come home to Maude, Gray, and Charlotte?
Oh, it's so great. I love it. I love having them here. They're like, sometimes I can't wait to get home. And yesterday I didn't have Maude because she was at the vet being spayed, and I just missed her so much. I couldn't wait to get her back. And I think the other two were looking at me like, what did you do with her? Where'd she go?
How's Maude doing? Is she healing okay?
Yeah, I can't believe she's running around. She's wrestling with the dog. I mean, it's amazing what we could learn from animals in their recovery. She's a little bit disoriented, but she's definitely as playful as ever.
You know, I know a lot of people that are a little bit disoriented, but I think it's the holiday punch or something or wine that's a factor. Maybe I don't think that's the case for Maude, right?
No, I think she's just affected by the anesthesia and the trauma.
Okay, she doesn't have to wear one of those silly hard plastic cones, does she?
She doesn't, and in fact, they put in dissolvable stitches, which is fantastic.
Good, so she gets to maintain her feline dignity and not bang into your walls.
Exactly.
So give me a little bio on these guys. You know, let's go with the one that's recovering and, you know, still under anesthesia. Let's go Maude. You do Maude without an E. I'm curious.
Yes, I do Maude without an E because she doesn't look like B. Arthur, and I didn't want to, everybody associates that name. Her other name, her first name, I was going to name her Portia, and everybody kept saying Derossi, and I was like, no, Shakespeare. So that one didn't stick, though. Maude just stuck. She just seems like a Maude. She's a little bit sophisticated and a lot silly. And I got her from a rescue group called Tales of the City, and I had been looking around for a kitten, and I sort of had that thing where you go, and I would go into adoptions, and I kept playing with cats, and I wanted to take them all, but I was waiting for that sort of signal, and I kept thinking, oh, that's silly. I'm not going to know. They're all so adorable. But when I met her, I saw that green eye and that blue eye, and I had a cat many years ago with that same trait, and I just thought, oh, this one's it. And she was so sweet and affectionate but had a spunky personality, so I knew she would, I like a balance of a cat who needs affection but also needs independence. So she's perfect. You
kind of are into different pets. Let's go with the next pet you got.
My next pet is Gray, and he showed up on my doorstep when I lived in an apartment in West Hollywood, and he would come every day to be fed, and after about a year and a half of feeding him every day and barely being able to touch him, I was moving, and I just could not leave him behind. I was so afraid that he wouldn't make it or he'd be self-abandoned, so the day after I moved out, I went back and waited for him to show up, and I grabbed him, and I brought him to my new place, and he's lived inside ever since.
What's his personality like?
He's a little skittish. He is very affectionate with me, but over the years, he's gotten better and better. Now he'll come out a little bit more when people are over. He'll let a few people touch him and pet him, but typically with strangers, he tends to just hide under my bed until he feels comfortable.
How's he doing with Maude?
Great with him, because Maude insists that he plays. So she will jump on him and wrestle with him, and he has no choice in the matter, and he just goes along with it pretty well.
Now, we've got a canine in the bunch, Charlotte. Let's talk about, poor Charlotte, outnumbered 2-1 by the demigods known as cats.
Charlotte and Maude are best friends. They spend most days wrestling with each other or sleeping together, and they're just really, really tight. It's really pretty great to watch. I have some fantastic video of them playing together.
Oh, you have to post them. We'll post it on the Pet Life Radio and your exclusive guest bio. We would love if you could put the URLs on that link. So Mark Winter, our producer, I know he's dancing right now because we love videos. So if you could send him a video, you would make him a very happy individual.
Oh, sure. I would love to.
We'd like to do that. So how old is Charlotte, and what's Charlotte's background?
Charlotte is about a year and a half. She was born in May of last year, and I was on that petfinder.com looking for a dog. My other dog had been diagnosed with cancer, and I was thinking it would be nice to get her a playmate. I thought maybe if I brought another dog in, it would bring some life to her and give her, just a reason to sort of, live maybe. I was on petfinder.com, and I found these puppies that I thought were just really, really special. So I drove out to Simi Valley, and that's how I first found this organization, Tiny Loving Canines. And I spent a lot of times with the puppies, and it was really hard. I wanted all of them. And I ultimately picked Charlotte to come live with us. And unfortunately, my dog didn't make it. But I got Charlotte right away. So,
what was your dog's name, and what kind of cancer?
My dog's name was Audrey, and I found her, I don't know if I should admit this, but I found her in Mexico and smuggled her over the border.
That's okay. She's passed on. They have no evidence. There's no evidence. You're clear.
I could be making this up. I was down there shopping one Christmas. I had just moved into my house, and she started following me and my friends around, and was super, super affectionate, but a little bit skittish. And she was holding up her leg as if it was broken, and she was incredibly emaciated. So I went and I got her some food, and I talked to a local. I found a man down there who had a house in Mexico. He was American, but he had a house there, and he told me that he knew this dog and that she was indeed a stray. And we picked her up and put her in the back of the car, and she lived with me for 10 years. And the kind of cancer, she had a tumor in her spleen, and it had ruptured. And so we did the surgery. They cleaned her up, and they told me it wasn't a great prognosis, but I went ahead anyway and did the whole chemo treatment and put her on a raw food diet and did a lot of supplements and kept her alive for another, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months.
Well, that was very kind and compassionate of you. Even though she may have spoken Spanish, she communicated quite well to you that you belonged together, right? Yeah,
she was a pretty special dog.
Wow. So have you had pets all your life?
I grew up with a cat. My mother was one of those who didn't really, have the pet gene in her, but I convinced her to take this cat in that was a neighbor of ours. And I think she thought that they would never give her up because I was begging and begging and begging to keep this cat. And she said, okay, I'll tell you what. You call up the street and you ask that family if we can have this cat, because Cat would always come over. So I called them, and they said yes. So
that'll teach your mom.
They were a family that had so many pets that I think they were happy to have somebody who wanted one. Yeah. And that cat became just a treasured member of our family, and my mother grew so attached to her. It was a really special, special cat. She was a black and white tuxedo cat named Frankie.
Frankie? Okay.
Yeah, I think they thought she was a boy when they first got her, but the name stuck.
Well, not to do an anatomy lesson here, listeners, but we can pretty much tell if it's a boy or a girl dog, just checking under the hood, even if they've been neutered, right? What is it with cats? That's pretty tricky to find.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they've been spayed or neutered, I mean, seriously, folks.
Yeah.
I don't spend all my days thinking about that, but, I think there's something androgynous about cats versus dogs.
Yeah.
Just my weird take on life. So this Tiny Loving Canines, I went on the site. It's a wonderful site. You were able to get Charlotte through this place. Tell me a little bit about this group and how people can learn more about it.
Well, like a lot of rescue groups, I mean, I know they're not, unique in this, but they're the ones I've had the most contact with, so it's the one that I resonate with. They are committed to small breed dogs or small mutt dogs, rescuing smaller dogs. They have a number of Chihuahuas and mixed breeds, and that's their main goal. They try to keep it approximately 10 pounds and under. I think they're not super strict about that, but that's sort of their focus. And they're just really compassionate, kind-hearted people who care so much about their animals and where their animals are being placed. And one thing about them that I think is remarkable is when they first started, Linda, who runs it with her husband, I think his name is Paul, they were taking in about, for every 4 animals they took in 1 special needs. That was sort of that they had felt like they could handle. And now it sounds more like for every 3 that are healthy, they seem to have 1 with some sort of special needs. Like I was out there about a week and a half ago, and they have a Chihuahua who lost a leg and an eye because it fell out of the window. But they've taken him in. They got him his surgery. He's all fixed up and ready to go, and now he's with a foster family.
Oh, that sounds great. We're speaking with actress Sally Brooks. you got to check her out in the new show on NBC. It's called Outsourced. I really like that show. And we're going to talk to Sally a little bit more about that show and the good things she's doing to bring out the best in dogs and cats right after we take this commercial break. So sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
If you ask the question, what do I want? What do I need? I'll take affection. I really should mention I need time. I need love. I crave attention. Listen to waiting by the door with shaking tails and happy hearts and running circles round the floor. That's always when the party starts. Oh, they are my friends. They are my children. They are the furry goodness and gifts. They are my family. They understand me. That's how I love my pets.
I Love My Pets, the new single by Mark Winter, available on iTunes.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets.
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets.
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, this is Lily Tomlin, and I invite you to listen to the Old Behave Show with Arden Moore on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the Old Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I'm having a great time. We're talking to actress Sally Brooks, and she's got 2 cool cats and 1 cool dog. And all these itty-bitty dogs in the Simi Valley, they've already started a Facebook page, I'm sure, for you, Sally, because of the work you're doing with the tinylovingcanines.org group. A few months back, I'm also involved with a group called Pet Airways. It's an airline where people can fly their pets. You don't get to fly, but the passengers do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we teamed up with, you seen it, heard about it?
I have, yeah.
Okay, it's pretty cool. And we teamed up with some shelter groups in LA to help coordinate sending a bunch of Chihuahuas to Denver and bring back a bunch of big dogs from their shelters because, as you know, in California, all these purse-riding itty-bitty little dogs were flooded with them. And the people in Denver would like to have something other than a Malamute or a Husky. So we coordinated the swapping of the itty-bitty for the big. And I think having a group like Tiny Loving Canines, I don't know, people sometimes think, oh, they're little dogs, I can have a dozen of them. And they don't realize each and every one of them needs to have love and consistent care and training.
Yeah, definitely. I think Linda was just telling me that they've done the same sort of thing with Canada. They were sending a bunch of the dogs up there because they don't have the small breeds like we do here.
Now, please tell me you don't carry your dogs in your purse. You don't carry Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't ride in a purse, right?
She does not. She does not.
Okay. And you don't ride in a purse, right?
Not so far.
Okay. All right. So, and your cats, do they do any special tricks? Do they go walk on leashes or, order takeout?
Well, Charlotte does walk on a leash, and she has some tricks that she can do. She's pretty good at sitting and staying, and she can dance a little bit. And you can see I have a workman at my house. She's very concerned right now.
Well, she's a terrier. That's her job. Okay.
Exactly.
Is she being the supervisor right now on your work project?
She seems to be. She's definitely supervising.
Well, that's okay. It is a pet show, so I think we can get by with that noise.
Yeah, she likes to let me. She loves to let me know when there's another dog walking by the house. But if I actually let her out, she is terrified to go near it, especially if it's at all bigger than she is. She's terrified. I tried to socialize her with the bigger dogs, but there's something she wants to bark at them, but not get too close to them.
Yeah, that's okay. Maybe someday you'll meet a big dog that's just really lovable and really, really mellow, and she'll get to meet that dog on her own terms. Because I have a little terrier mix and a big 60-pounder, and I swear they're joined at the hip. They're very good pals. And when they run, the golden retriever husky Chipper is running full throttle, right? And the little terrier mix Cleo is running all 12 pounds in super turbo terrier mode. She'll leap up in the air and slam into my dog's flanks as they run. And the big dog Chipper's just like laughing. So I hope my wish for Charlotte is someday she gets to have a big lug of a dog that she can go dance all over.
Yeah.
As an actress, this is kind of fun. You just get gigs as you can, right?
Right.
But you have such great range. So we want some inside secrets. I've seen that you've appeared in The Good Guys, Weeds, The Mentalist, Cold Case, Grey's Anatomy, Desperate Housewives. Were you involved I was trying to think of which episode you are in The Mentalist, because I really watched that show, and that Red John is kind of scary and creepy. And can you bring to people a little bit of idea of which role that you had in that as a guest?
Yeah, I was in, it was called Red John's Footsteps, and it was the season finale of, I'm trying to remember if it was season 1 or 2. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. It was I think at least a year ago.
Okay. What was your role in that? And any kind of, are they dog lovers on that or pet lovers on that set?
I don't know. I was on location for my part of it, so it was freezing is what I remember. Freezing. And we were outside, and I was just really happy to get out of there. It was just a little bit difficult to shoot. The wind was whipping in our faces, and our eyes were tearing up just because it was so cold. And it was season 1. That's what it was. It was the season finale of season 1.
So what was your role?
So I was a skywriter who had written, I had given a message that they were trying to tie back to Red John and figure out who had paid me to do it. So they came to question me about that.
Oh, okay. So how do you get these gigs? I know you have to be a member of the Actors Guild and all that, but how do you end up landing on these different roles? Do you have any tips or advice for anybody that's aspiring to be in the movie business?
Most of them are auditioning. You your agent gets you an audition, and you go in and you read for the producers and the casting director, and just hope that you give them what they're looking for. And for me, I've just sort of developed a habit of going in, doing my job, and then I have a little bit of a ritual where I throw my sides away on my way out. So I just sort of figure if they call me, that's a bonus, but if they don't, you sort of move on and go to the next one. So that doesn't
You throw your what away?
My sides, which is the scene that you audition with. They call them sides.
Oh, okay. All right. But you got great range. Like you were in Sergeant Bilko and Kitty Kitty and Osmosis Jones. I mean, sometimes don't actors want to be either strictly known for dramatic or comedy? I mean, how would you describe yourself? Was chameleon the right description?
Well, I don't think that actors necessarily want to be known for one or the other. I think it happens. You wind up landing there, and so you just wind up doing one or the other. I do really feel very fortunate that I've been able to do both comedy and drama. And I guess I prefer comedy a little bit more because I like sort of the instant feedback, especially if you're doing theater. You get a sense of whether or not it's working. But the fact that I've been able to do drama as well is sort of a bonus. And that's what I meant earlier when I said was that I was talking to about being typecast. You were asking me about what the variety of roles that a person plays.
Right.
So when you're typecast is one thing, sometimes it limits you to just doing that, which, like I said, can work for or against you. But when you're doing the flip side of that is if you're not typecast and you're sort of all over the place, then you can sometimes get more opportunities to go in for things that you otherwise might not be called in for if they think, oh, she can't do drama or he can't do comedy.
And now, are you able to ever take your pets on the set, or what happens with them when we're having those long days of shooting?
Yeah, no, I don't take them on set with me very often. I do an enormous amount of voiceover work, and occasionally I'll take them if I know the producers and I know that they're okay with it. I have a dog walker who comes in and walks Charlotte when I'm not here, and I have an assistant, and she takes care of my pets if it's a long day or if I have to go out of town.
Oh, good. What kind of voiceover work can we recognize? You don't sound like that Aflac duck. Seriously, I mean.
No, I do something called looping, which is when we do background voices on TV series. So I work on a lot of shows I work on a lot of hour dramas filling in the background voices, like Chuck and NCIS LA, and I worked on ER and The West Wing and Third Watch, and would be the one saying, Dr. Moore to the OR, Dr. Moore, report to the OR.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to listen next time I'm on Chuck. Is there an episode you just did with Chuck coming up?
I actually do every episode of Chuck.
Give me some things that you're saying. I'm curious.
Some of the things you might hear me on Chuck that would poke out would be some of the robotic voices. You know, sometimes you'll hear a voice say, access denied.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a few of us. There's usually 3 women on every episode, but the odds are good that if you watch an episode, if one of those will be me.
You know, now that is a great gig in the movie business because you can come in looking in sweats and no makeup,
exactly.
Right?
That's right.
Do you do anything like drink honey and tea or something? Or, I mean, is your...
I'm not obsessive about it, but yeah. I mean, I have the whole arsenal of throat coat and all the things, just slippery elm or whatever you prefer to take. But I'm healthy. I eat pretty healthy, so I keep myself... I think that helps me not get sick very often.
We're speaking with Sally Brooks. She's an actress of many talents, and I wanted to get right to it. There's a new show on NBC. It's called Outsourced, and it's about a guy that's coordinating, I guess, a group of, what do you call them? Would that be mail order?
Call center. It's a call center in India.
Call center in India. And my understanding is you're going to take on the role of the wife of the boss that's still in the United States that somehow pulled a fast one on the star of the show, and he lands himself in India. So tell us a little bit about what your role is and what it's like on the set.
You know, I don't have a lot yet to tell you about. You've already said my character is the boss's wife, and we're in couples counseling, so we're having a little bit of marital tune-up. And the set's fantastic. The writers are really generous, and when we are working, they give us alternate line readings to find other options, and they let us improvise. And Matt Walsh, who plays Jerry Stern, I play his wife, is incredibly talented and a lot of fun to work with. So it's really great, and it's nice to be on a new show where everybody's really excited and happy to be working, and really generous cast and crew.
Now, what's your character's personality supposed to be as Nancy Stern?
You know, she hasn't been developed a whole lot yet. You know, I think initially they wanted her to be sort of nagging and sort of, you know, a little unhappy with her husband and how much time he puts into work, but it hasn't developed a whole lot yet. And I think as, you know, the season progresses, whether or not they decide, you know, there's a lot of options right now, and I think as the show finds its way, the characters will find their way as well.
Well, it's sort of like the show Glee. You know, they started with a core cast, if you will, and now this season they started introducing other characters. I think that's a smart strategy to keep the longevity going, don't you?
I do, and I think that it helps reach a wider audience. You know, they have a really nice balance between their sort of younger cast members and their older cast members.
All right. Anything you're doing coming up for the Tiny Loving Canines group? I know you're a big supporter of them. I don't know if they have anything coming up in the first of the year, any events, or how people can learn more about that, so when they tune into the show?
Yeah, they have a website, tinylovingcanines.org, and they have a fundraiser. I'm not sure when this is airing or if this is airing live. It's on Sunday, December 12th, out at Miller Park, and the details are on their website.
All right. Are you going to be there, or are you going to be working?
Unfortunately, I can't be there. I have 2 other events that day, but I've been spreading the word and sending out emails about it.
Okay. And does Kate Walsh's 2 dogs, do they hang out with Charlotte? Luke,
no, because
Diamond,
they're
Phillips,
bigger.
and Rosie?
She's afraid of the bigger dogs, so no.
You got to work on that.
I know.
You got to work on that. Maybe I can help you out. I am an animal behavior consultant, and my goal is to help bring harmony to people and pets. And I think with the terrier mix, you know, like Charlotte, there's a lot of, I call it air guitar, like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
I was just kidding, just kidding, just kidding.
Exactly.
But, you know, sometimes, you know, if you got a mellow dog and there's a big area that they feel safe, and you just kind of be calm and don't push the introductions, and they're just kind of hanging out after a good long run, so they're both a little tired.
Yeah.
Maybe Charlotte could kind of meet a big lug of a dog that way, but I don't see it happening at a dog park where there's a bunch of dogs. There's a lot of mixing going on, you know.
Yeah.
But if not, she is cool because she hangs out with 2 cats.
I know. She's really great with them. She's just wonderful. And even now she's being really gentle with Maud. Maud's home from her surgery.
Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Anything you want to end with that maybe something they've taught you that makes you a better person and a better actress? I mean, just hanging out and watching these 3?
Well, I think that the biggest thing they've really taught me is more of a life lesson, which is just, you know, just like they live in the moment. They're really present in the moment. They don't hold on to things, you know. I can get angry with Charlotte or frustrated with her, and, you know, I can try to correct the behavior, and then she doesn't mind. She's okay, and the next minute she's back in my lap. You know, she's just really lives in the moment and doesn't hold on to things, which I think is a really good lesson we can all learn.
I think so too. Sally, I'm so glad you could be a guest on our show. We're speaking to Sally Brooks. You need to check out sallybrooks.com and tinylovingcanines.org. It's a great rescue group that she's involved with that's in the Simi Valley in California. And Sally, we actually have listeners from all over the world, including Singapore. So you're going to get some good range. We have over 1 million people that tune in each week to Pet Life Radio.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much, Art. It was so nice to talk to you.
So that's our show for now. I'm urging all of you to dash over to PetLifeRadio.com. We have a bunch of great pet shows on our network. It is the #1 pet podcast network on the planet. That's a lot of P's. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand. This is the place for a special paparazzi treat. Only on PetLifeRadio.com.